Hey everybody, here we are with another World of Tanks replay, this time from the 9.8 test. Now of course, because it is from the test, we got no mods, and also horrible connection issues. I'm dealing with a ping that bounces between 380 and 450 here and severe packet loss, so I'm certainly not going to be up to my regular standards. Not that they're much good anyway. And I decided to take the IS-3 out for a spin to check out its new model. Now, worth noting is that the remodel has given the IS-3 a new muzzlebrake, the BL9, so you're going to have to get used to identifying this gun. This is the BL9. The old cheese grade muzzlebrake is gone, replaced by this. The D25T looks the same as it always has with the two-chamber or two-baffle muzzlebrake. Otherwise, not much seems to have changed visually. The armor scheme's changed a little. People are saying it's a nerf. It probably does slightly affect the IS-3's performance, but it shouldn't be too bad. It certainly does look nice, though. Now, one thing that's worth noting, and that's not going to show up in this because it's a replay, and it doesn't show up in replays, is the new performance badge mechanic. It's basically taken from one of the warships. What it does is, whenever you perform certain actions in the game, like spot an enemy, or deal damage, or critically hit somebody, a little ribbon pops up in the top center of the screen. They all disappear into the top right corner they've displayed, and basically, like in a lot of warships, it allows you to keep track of what you've done on the fly. It's kind of novel at first, but while it might be useful for some players, it gets a bit tiresome. But of course, because it is a feature that actually happens in the match, it doesn't show up on replays. I just tried to turn it back on then, and it won't let me, because it doesn't say that it's part of the replay. I was shooting a lot of APCR this match, partly because I didn't trust my ability to get good shots with my high ping, and partly just because I knew I was going to be fighting tier 10s. So far, we're not doing too bad. In fact, this 263 is in a really good position, which allows me to help working over. This is not what you want to be doing in a 263. You have really good front armor, you have no side armor at all. You cannot put yourself behind in a 263. It's suicide. He's also carrying an extinguisher, of course. With him dealt with, it's time to finish the AMX chasseur de char. Surprised at that penned, but I'm not going to complain. And at this range, there's almost no way this can fuck up. Just the enemy mouse and 215B Mark 3 left, and then their hardy. Apologies if the sound's kind of loud. I forgot to turn the in-game volume before I started recording. I'll make sure I do that for the next replay. Hopefully you can hear me, because I don't really feel like re-recording this. Anyway, the 183 goes down, the mouse goes down, and all we have to deal with now is the body, which I will quite happily go and try and kill. Actually, you know what? while we're here, I'd like to actually point out the design of this muzzle brake, because this is something I was really interested in when I looked at the IS-3 in the garage. The IS-3 with the BL9, in case you are new to the game or just hadn't really paid attention, used to have a similar muzzle brake to what the IS-7 gets, or the E100, or any of those tanks. Or the Nova. It's basically just a tubular muzzle brake with a bunch of holes drilled in either side. Almost identical to the IS-7's, just a bit shorter. This new muzzle brake is actually quite an interesting design, because if we look at the outside, you've got these two large vents to either side at the back of it, but if you look at the inside, not quite that close, it's difficult to see in the lighting, but there's actually, the holes are drilled on the inside at the front. So what it does is it actually directs the gas through those holes along the jacket here and then out the sides. So that's interesting. I hadn't seen a design like that before. I think it's kind of like the one on the BL10 actually, which makes sense that it's on the BL9 now. But like I said, that's something people are going to have to learn to identify to be able to tell which gun an IS-3 is using, because that's important information. It makes a difference between it not being much of a threat to you and it being a serious threat to you. The Leopard 1 also got an HD remodel. In fact, a whole bunch of tanks did this patch. And they look really, really, really nice. A Leopard finds the enemy party first and gets shotgunned as he slides down the cliff. I decide not to go down the same place as him. I know the 261 is still moving, but he's ready to come off of the first. I'm able to finish him before he gets his shell loaded. And again, you can see what I mean there. The muzzle brake on the 261 is very close to what the IS-3 used to have on the BL9. Other visual changes on the model, they're not really serious ones. They have removed the fuel and oil tanks from the side. They may have actually done that a few patches ago. I haven't played the IS-3 as much lately. It used to have tanks along the side as well. Those are gone. They've added the Dushka to the top of the turret as an anti-aircraft machine gun. A couple of changes to the actual shape of the tank. I think the lower front plate is a little different. It's been adjusted slightly. Now, I haven't had a chance to look at the actual armor scheme yet, so I'm not sure how that's changed. I'd be curious to see actually what's happened to the side skirts. Well, I say side skirts, they're not actually side skirts. The spaced armor on the side of the IS-3 in-game is actually just sheet metal on most IS-3s that I've seen. Wargaming may have found documentation that says it was meant to be armor, but in the majority of cases it appears to just be tin work, basically, and then it's used as a storage space while the actual armor plate curves in at an angle over the tracks and then down the side of the tank to form like a sort of concave shape like you see on the Object 140 and the Object 430 and the 907 to an extent. But I'd be curious to see how that's been changed with this, if it's been changed at all, because these new HD models, as well as making the tanks look a lot nicer, they give Wargaming a lot more armor groups to play with. So they're able to make the armor scheme more detailed. They're able to make the collision geometry a lot closer to what it should be, so certain parts of the tank that were kind of abstracted before are now actually properly modeled. And to that end, I think if you actually look at the armor scheme on the on some of the tanks, you can see that there's a lot more actual armor modeled in, where it used to just be a flat piece before. You know, there's bits of armor layered up and all sorts of interesting shapes. It gives you a much better sense of what you're actually shooting at. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and this brief look at the new and improved IS-3. Certainly improved visually. Whether it's going to be improved, worsened, or remained the same in terms of its performance in-game, yet to be seen. One match is certainly not enough to tell anything by, especially on test slinging gold in a tier 10 match, but because it wasn't too bad of a match, surprisingly enough, I decided I would throw this one up on here. Next video will be another test video, but that one will be in the M48 Fatten. Till next time, I wish you the best of luck in the field, and I'll catch you on the next video.